Here we go. I'm in the tractor. I'm heading back to the field right now. I'm here in my home place. I will put up the other camera here in a second. Thanks for holding tight for the first 7 minutes of the stream. I will try to remember to put a mark in here saying, hey, this is where the stream starts. So hopefully you can hear me. I don't know what the audio is doing right now. Give me 1 second to get stuff kind of sorted. Besides the fact everybody's getting blown away by the... I smell getting blown away by the AC stuff. Sweater off. We'll switch the camera. We're going to start planting beans today. Into this scene, yes. Oh, I need to fix that camera real fast. That's not what I wanted. Where's that? What am I looking for? Oh, that is not what I wanted. Where's the button that oh, there it is. Okay, that's better. Oh, excuse me. I will be right back. I'm going to fix that webcam, GoPro, whatever it is. Okay, well, we can figure that out here in a second on how that's going to work. Let's see. You on. You spin. Yeah, I'm gonna need to fix that. That's fully out. That's down in the guide rails. Okay. Let's fix that camera, and I gotta go flip some valves. Okay, not the... And I just reverted. Let's try that. Alright. That should be set up right. That's good. Alright, let's engage our vacuum. Vacuum engaged. Bring up that. Let's see here. Engine 1. Alright. We're pulling not much hydraulics, I need the plus kilowatts. Vacuum. 15 vacuum. Okay. Let's spin this tractor around. We'll start planting for good. Just wanted to make sure everything's aired up. Good. I got a vacuum. I've got vacuum, and all the seat count is good. I won't have the correct marker for what I want. And we'll find out here soon enough. Nope. Nope, that wasn't the marker I wanted. Give me the marker I want. Thank you. Get out of the trees. Still a little soft from my liking, but gotta get going. It's not worth waiting till tomorrow. Granted, this section right here is tilled, so it's going to be a little stickier than the rest of the field, just because this here's been disked. And I disked this up last year because there was a huge fire hazard, and I thought I might as well just disc the inrows here just in case of a wildland fire to try and A, prevent it from spreading, or B, if it started in the field miraculously, it would be somewhat contained until the fire department got here. Not stupid greasy tonight, but yesterday, so I didn't challenging because you got to make sure, especially if you're up against trees, that you're not going to get your planter stuck in a tree line. pass up and down this field to the waterway. dig out this waterway because I used to go back and forth between the east and west side of the farm here. There's 3 fields here. You have a northeast patch, a southeast patch, which we're going back and forth between now. I gotta spin around to get to take this back, the waterway back up, and then there's this waterway that divides the north and south on the east side that we also use to drive down to go check on the west side of the farm, because it's got a railroad line that runs between the 2 tracks. Well, technically there's 3 tracks here, but I'm not going to get into that all nitty-gritty. Long story short, 3 fields. We use the waterway to go see one of the fields, and it's getting eaten out because the sprayer guy keeps spraying too far into the waterway, and I'm not, which is why we fired them. I hope that the new guys don't get too carried away with spraying out my waterway. It kind of aggravates me. We have it there, and then we plant it, and then it's been sprayed, so we plant into it. I think a couple of years ago, the waterway used to be about 15 foot wide. I think it's now down to 7. And that's just happened in the last couple of years. It kind of aggravates me. What? Number 3. What's our... Okay. Okay, what's going on here? Row 3 is empty. Rear row empty. Acknowledge. Why is it empty? Let's look at that again. Okay. What the hell's going on for row 3? Okay. This part. Ow! Well, that was easy diagnosis. Corn cob somehow got up the seed tube. Well, now I gotta go replant that. Piece of crap. Back to this. I'm just curious how much stuff I'm using. Half gallon an hour. Oh, I'm sorry, 3.3 pounds an hour. I think a gallon of depth like 7 point some. Just say 8 pounds. So. Actually, doing too bad with my DEF activity. Diesel exhaust fluid, because Case came out with a software update earlier this year, late last year. They added in the whole bunch of gauges into my iPad over here, or whatever you want to call it, the tablet user interface, button dummy. But nitty gritty is that now I can see my EGTs and how much, just what's going on in the emission system. I think that's part of their 2027 emissions program, that some of the older machines are got a software update to allow them to be more compliant with the upcoming emissions standards. So why do we still have a problem? Why do we still have a problem with that? Give it a dusting. Okay, I physically dropped seed down the tube. Now, I watched it. I'm not going back again. It's probably just going to be a nice skip there. Whatever. Oh, screw it. I might as well just go back. Aggravate. Piece of crap. Hopefully, there better be something that grows here. Hey, acknowledge. Escape. There we go. Okay, let's go back around. You know you're going to be out come Monday because we need to do some updates. So waited. Hey, there's going to be some severe weather. Let's not take our systems offline. There we go. Now we're meeting. Problem here. My phone didn't go offline, did it? No, it's still on my phone. Okay. Maybe it was what? Okay. Seed alarm taken care of. Something better grow here. Or mad. We'll know here in a week or so when it comes up. Like to have planted the beans yesterday, but weather was a little too wet to plant. Not a little wet now, but I'm already rolling, so a little foolish to stop now. besides the fact I got a corn cob shoved up where the sun don't shine. Which I honestly don't know how the heck that happens. What the heck? I said come up. Well, that's nice. That's just going to plant right. Hope you don't mind some hay. Some beans in your hay. Whatever. Now that we've got the first round done, life gets a lot easier because you're making your first mark for the field that kind of outlines where your plants are and are not going to grow. Don't want to plant into the hay. But at the same time, the hay is not what makes the money for me. It's the crop. By crop, I mean soybeans or corn. Row crop. Eventually, I'd like to make this everything below this terrace row crop, but that was not my call this year. Maybe next year. Okay, let's nope out of that before I get in a tree. Yeah. Live on it. Theory should be. Okay, stop fooling around. I'll get turned around here eventually. Since I'm full of stuff. Go back. to just drop my freaking stream, or? No, I'm still going. Okay. What's going on here? I just want to see if there's anything going on in here. Warning, your stream views are not stream views. Your frame rate is low. Yeah, well, we know that because I'm trying to stream off of my phone, but it's just not. I don't think. It's still going. That's what matters. Just upset that I don't have the bit rate. Okay. We're full with this. There we go. Get rolling. This here is going to take a little while because we got so many dang curves. Bush-like can, I feel. Fix that. Brilliant, it's shredded up. Come up. Plant this over here. Now that we're in the no-till, the untilled soil, we do minimal till. Like I said, the only reason I had the first 20 feet tilled up was because of all the fire weather last fall. Now that that's done, I can squeeze around here. Maybe. I don't want a tree, I don't want a tree, I don't want a tree. Spin that around. Left. I want the right marker, right side marker. Oh, the camera got screwed again. I'm gonna go fix that real fast. 1 second. I also think part of that was the fact that I had that at an angle. Let's get back to the plant. Because it's already 7 o'clock. I'd like to get this side of the field done before sundown, so I don't have people complaining that there's a tractor working out here and it's how dark. I'd like to do that. But whatever. People are going to want to sleep as well, but it's a Saturday, so I'm not going to feel too guilty about it because people are usually up a little later on the Saturday anyways. chat tonight. Hello. Make sure my chat still works. I haven't heard from anybody tonight. Welcome in. Hope you like watching planting. I know it's not the most engaging of live streams, but I'm hoping to hit 1,000 subscribers here within the next month or so. Well, we're already here at the end of April. Hoping by this time that I'd have 1,000, but I think 1,000 by the end of May would be nice. So if you're not subscribed, it's free. Just do it. You don't have to come back and watch me ever again. I used to be that one guy that you've seen on a random stream, and I'll subscribe to him. Just didn't give him clout. Makes my day. Straight away, I can make up a little bit of speed. One nice thing is that about these Kinseys is that they're not, the monitors are not as annoying as the John Deere ones. The John Deere ones, you would get so tired of them so fat. At least I did. I got so of the computer track. I don't know what. I think some people use green stars nowadays. I don't know. We've never really had the advanced equipment. Probably the most advanced part of these is the fact it's a vacuum planner, not a fingerprint, not a mechanical meter, or a Kinsey at least. Vacuum planners, I think, do a lot better spacing. You get a guaranteed pickup compared to a mechanical where you can have you're more susceptible to skips, in my opinion. I mean, some people raise a good crop with mechanical meters, and to each their own, I guess. Because personally, I'm more of a vacuum planner. I mean, that's all I've ever ran is vac planners since I've been operating the machines, at least. That's all I have ever personally operated was and I think that's kind of been how my grandfather's been. I mean, he used air planners, IH air planners, and then stories came out about narrow soybeans, and so they had a 2000 model Kinsey, but Dad never liked it because of the staggered. It was a box planter, so when you had the 11 row, the 5 pushers, it was a pain in the butt to load them because you had to go back and forth between the boxes. So they went to a John Deere 611. We had 2 of those, and when I started planting the soybeans here the last couple of years, what have I done? 5-6 years now I've been running the soybeans in, and I just blow a head gasket anytime I deal with these. I dealt with that John Deere because all these stalks would just get wrapped up in the tillage manager, because we had trash movers, or whatever you want to call those, row cleaners on the John Deeres. We didn't have coulters like on this planter, which I think was most of our problem regarding those Deeres, was that they were not set up correctly for soybean planting. They were more set up for tilled corn. But anyways, we've spec'd this planter to a more we spec'd this planter better compared to the Deeres when we ordered them, and this is year 2 of this planter. We bought another, as you've seen in probably some of my shorts and videos I've released to date. We got another Kinsey without the front pusher units we got that on a different Magnum that we bought because our 4450 got its cap cave in when a storm came through last year, and that got totaled out. So our hand was kind of forced into that Magnum, and then the 6-row corn head took a poop on us. So our hands were by the force of God, we've kind of been forced into 8 rows. I mean, we already had an 8-row corn head, but we didn't think we would be going to 8-row planting and picking 8 rows for another couple years. We've been doing some we've had a 20-row, not 20-row, 20-foot table for a couple of years now. About 5 years now we've had that 20-foot table, and because our 15-foot table blew up, literally, it wasn't a stick of TNT, but the frame went like this when we were picking, and it was either buy another 15-foot or buy a 20-foot, and Grandpa decided he was going to go for a 20-foot because we had the combine to do it, so we thought we might as well bite the bullet. When you pick beans, you just shave them off, so it does, unlike corn, you have to kind of pick with it. You have to pick what you plant, or like what a lot of people do, plant double what they pick. So I know a lot of people, like my uncle, him and his brother plant 12 rows and pick 6. But they only run one planter. We run 2 planters. So but with beans, you can get away with you don't have to pick what you plant, unlike with corn, as I'm saying. So we just planted 15 foot, picked 20, and last go around when we upgrade our planters, which we do about every 10 years for planters, or at least our bean on the bean side of things. Why? I don't know. It's just how it rolls. But we've got this Kinsey because I was just so tired of dealing with the John Deeres. I always felt like I was kept doing more and more wrenching on them, and it was always the same parts going bad. It was either the Coulter units would always get locked up, which, not the Coulter, I'm sorry, the opener discs would go to shit, and it was pissing me off. So we decided to see what Kinsey had in store, and we were offered bulk fill for soybeans, which is a heck of a lot better than dealing with 3 bushel boxes or 3 unit boxes. And it's physically less demanding to use center fills, and you don't have to deal with with the Kinsey stagger, your trash flow is a lot smoother, and with better trash flow, you don't deal with the trash hauler, because that John Deere would, even when the bearings weren't shot, if you planted just at the wrong angle or something, the stalks would clog up, and you'd just have a 15-foot drag blade. And with these Magnums, they just have so much power that you would just get going. You'd just be going, and all of a sudden, the tractor would start to load down. You're like, dang! And then you look back, and I have a ball of trash. So you'd have to sit there and try and pull the ball of trash out, so you didn't throw corn stover in the combine, and hopefully you got a crop out of that stover pile. That's kind of been the last couple of years when it comes to machinery. Some newer, better stuff with minimal technology. I mean, yeah, it's fancy tractor, not like any GPS or electrical shut-offs or hydraulic downforce, because the John Deere's had airbag downforce, and the airbags, you'd either forget to fill them up with air and then you didn't have sufficient down pressure, or you had oops, I did not turn that on. Either you didn't have sufficient down pressure and you forgot to fill them up, or the one problem we had is that we were told, oh, you need to air your bags up to 90 pounds to get 400 pounds into the ground. Yeah, we kind of ran with that for years, and then I looked in the book, it was like, we didn't even know we were putting 400 down. We were just told by the sales rep, oh yeah, you're supposed to air them up all the way to 90 pounds, your airbags all the way up to 90. Didn't even think about, oh yeah, that's 400 pounds of down pressure. Our soils, we don't need that much pressure. I mean, we're running, I think like 150 on this planter set up at 150, and I mean, I should probably get out and check to make sure it's planting all the way at 2 inches. But when I checked, I had this planter out last week just to make sure everything was ready to go to set it up for the 25 plant year. It was planted at 2 inches with the 156 pounds in the no-tilled soil. So, that's why this planter doesn't have air, pneumatic downforce, or even hydraulic downforce for that matter, was because springs are simple, they're easy to adjust, and pretty much a set and forget thing. I mean, hydraulics are expensive, airbags fail, springs are cheap and easy to work with. That's my philosophy, is Murphy's Law. What can fail will fail, so why make something more complicated just to create more havoc? And the beans we did last year between genetics and the planter, we had a very good yield for what that ground usually does. Because I think usually the ground on the ground that we planted last year, usually that gets about 50 bushel beans. We were pushing almost 60. Granted, we had a different hybrid of beans, which I'm planting the same hybrid of this year. But between that and I think some adjustments on the planter, gave us sufficient advantage to do a good crop last year. I did some more tinkering around with it and looking in the book just to make sure that everything should be about right. I mean, about the only next big step, in my opinion, would be to get GPS. I mean, I don't think it'd be that complicated for this to put. I mean, the only thing is just having that subscription is that. I mean, this tractor only plants soybeans. That, with the exception last year, it ripped. But otherwise, this tractor is pretty much a dedicated planting tractor. So, is it really worth paying for that subscription for 25-30 hours of work? Is that subscription really worth it, especially for soybeans? I mean, beans are not the crop that makes the money. Beans aren't a negative venture, but it's just that the corn side usually makes a little more money. But around here, you have to have your soybeans to help keep your soil health high. I know a lot of guys are going to try, and I've seen on a couple podcasts that a lot of guys are talking about doing double corn, or corn on corn, and not even doing full of soybeans because of the price of them. Well, and those guys also have manure that they can put down to help offset the cost of fertilizer and other negatives, because corn is just a very nutrient hungry plant. Not to say soybeans don't take nutrients, they take a lot of phosphorus and potassium, but corn just takes a lot of nitrogen, and when you're just running so much artificial fertilizer on crops, you start to mine the soil, and you just get worse and worse yields and soil health, and also you have a higher risk of diseases, because with rotating the crops around, you can kind of psych out some of the crop diseases, because you're going from a grass, which corn is like your corn and wheat, those are grasses, and then you're putting broadleaf weed into there. So dandelions, believe it or not, I believe dandelions are considered a broadleaf. I could be wrong. If I am right, broadleaf, the dandelions and soybeans are cousins. But soybeans also help with your act as a good cover crop, because they restore nitrogen levels to soil naturally through their nodules with the bacteria that lives within those nodules. I think it's like, I can't think of the name. I'd have to look at the label on the inoculant, which is why we put inoculant on our soybeans as well, when in the mix with our talc graphite lubricant. A lot of my grandpa, and always, my grandfather claims it's snake oil, but I did a little research on it. I told him, no, it's not. I mean, we've been doing, we've put it on, but he's always claimed it's snake oil. Well, sorry, Grandpa, you're not right there. I don't like to shame you that much, but it's the truth. Here we go. Anyways, and to the guys who are going to do the corn on corn, thank you for the higher bean prices, because when the reports come out on how much crop is being planted, when the soybean numbers are going to be in the pooper, well, thank you. Now, obviously, one of the big pushers for people to get away from doing soybeans this spring, is the fact with the trade war with China. And I don't want to get into politics, but obviously the economy right now is not going to reflect the one at harvest. We're talking 6 months, 5-6 months down the road. Unless you're an AI algorithm, you cannot see that far into the future. You can try to predict it. And a lot of people are banking on the fact that the price of American soybeans are going to be very low. Well, if they are, I guess we get to eat crow. But if not, with everybody doing a grass on grass crop, well, go ahead and do it. In theory, the market will be better for me while you go oversaturate the corn market. Like I said, the main reason why we do soybeans is just because you have to do your crop rotation. Because there's just so much, just because corn really mines your soil, mostly. Soybeans do take nutrients, don't get me wrong, but soybeans have some restorative properties. But then some people would say I should put everything here to prairie hay and graze cattle off of it. That'd be the best way to regain soil health. Well, sadly, this area here though is mostly brome hay, which is a cool season grass, with all the residential going up around this farm especially. I mean, maybe one of the other farms you could probably put back to consider prairie, but and grazing cattle, but here on the home place, not exactly an option, I don't think, because everybody would not be happy with the stench of animals. Could be wrong, I mean, but just knowing the way things can be. Drop any water to bring back with me. That was foolish. Okay, I'm not that far from my shop. Kind of going back to the topic of soil. That's the reason. That's pretty much the only reason why there's so much of the brome around here, is because the soil where the brome is very sandy, and the sandy soil is not very conducive to crops. And it was put the hay as a conservation measure, I think, also back when you had to offset when we had that huge grain surplus, you had your offset acres for I can't remember what the program was called. But basically, you wouldn't plant X acres, so you didn't oversaturate the market with crop. I think that was part of the reason why there's all the brome here. And the soil is very poor as well as you get up on the terrace. I mean, you can see up there on the crown, just on the crown terrace, that the grass does not grow near as tall as it does down here in the valley. Because I mean, when I spin around here, that tree line is actually a creek, and when you get near a waterway, usually the ground near a waterway is very productive, whatever the term is. But anyway, irregardless, and it's just been brome. It's been brome ever since I was a youngin'. I have no plans to rip it up. Partly because I don't want to deal. Partly because it makes the people who live near it happy, because they don't have a tractor at 9 o'clock at night right up against their house. Even though that's what I'm doing right now. But like I said, it's a Saturday. I'm not exactly what's the word? I don't feel guilty with being this late. I mean, it's 7:42 at night right now, so I'm getting closer, but I'm not going to be on this side of the track of the. I don't plan on being here that much longer. I honestly don't know how much I'm getting done. I think if you were to, I mean, without running a calculator, I think running about 5.5 miles an hour, 20 feet wide. I think the number was, I ran the numbers. You plant like 11 acres an hour, and I started just a little after 7. I think I'd have to look how long have I been? I've been planting for an hour and a quarter. Yeah, that number ain't right. But then again, that's if I was just going in a straight line. I've been kind of fooling around as well, especially with that hiccup earlier. But in theory, I shouldn't be here too much longer. And I'm getting in some shorter rows on this north patch. I'm working my way east and then towards the houses, and then once I get this patch done, I start working the south patch. I'll be working my way west away from the housing. So the tractor itself is not very loud. It's the dang vacuum cleaner. That's the only downside I have about vacuum cleaners is that they're rather loud. Excuse me. I just hope I put enough seed in here to do this, because I didn't fill this full because I'm not doing 16 acres ish. 15 and a half or 16. I honestly have to look at the thing. I honestly think 40. Measure it's about 16 acres or so. And I'm doing about 150,000 seeds an acre. Units 140,000. So just say 1.1 bags an acre. So I think I need about 18, just 17.6 bags. I have, and that with a capacity of 50. In theory, I thought I filled the boxes about half full. I'll figure it out. If I have to, I will come back. I will end up throwing a bag between the two boxes just to finish up, because I don't want to transport with it. Granted, I've used probably a good half of the seed. No, not half, but I would be using a good chunk of seed to, what would it be, about 3/8 of an entire 3/8 of the box if I were to fill it full. But I don't want to transport with the seed in the tubes. I'd rather keep that to a minimum. Not the tubes, sorry. Seed in the words. Give me a second. If I want to transport minimal seed in the tanks, because that's a lot. Seed weighs quite a bit per unit. I think each unit weighs about 60 pounds. So, I mean, it pop. Just go. I mean, the next field's a mile away, so having that much seed in there is not terrible. But it's just also the way the planter, just the way it goes down the road as well. Aggravate me. just joining me tonight, hello, welcome in. If you haven't hit the like button, please do, and do hit the subscribe button. And if your subscriptions are set to public, you will get a nice placard that says you are now a subscriber. And it'll probably send me shooting out of sea because it'll probably blast loud and then reverb and cause everybody pain. So if you'd like to make me suffer, hit the subscribe button. Help me reach 1,000 subs. Hoping to get 1,000 subs by the end of next month. My goal was the end of this month, but there's only 4 or 5 days left this month. I'm not looking at a calendar. I'm not sure if April has 30 or 31 days. I think it's only 30. I have to look at a calendar, and I'm not looking at one. I will apologize. My name's not Albert Einstein. I don't even know if Albert Einstein would be able to tell me if April had 30 or 31 days. No. Why is that so rough? I'm from the company of the freaking corn grow units. That was one of the major things that kind of upset me about that high pressure on the corn, was that it would cup in the rows so much. But yeah, when you're putting that much pressure on the soil, it's going to cup. I mean, it makes sense why it cup, but it kind of aggravated me that it was cupping. I didn't know that was the reason why until I started reading the book. Well, I got a lot of resistance for reading the book because we've done that way for years. Why do you want to change it now? Because how we've been doing it for years, it was the wrong way. What do I just read a book, and then I know everything. Honestly, the only way to really know if I'm doing it right is to see if I get a good yield. And well, it's only about 5 months, because I think beans are about 90 days mature. 90 days to maturity, and then takes them about a month to dry down. I don't know. Probably won't be picking these till October. For the last couple years, the way things have been working, I don't know why. It's just been how it's been. Excuse me. Is I would do about half our corn, pick half our corn, and then end up switching to beans, and then finishing up on our corn. Because when the beans are ready, you got to get them out. There's no arguing that. Beans have to get out because if you get snow on the ground, it's impossible to pick them because your table won't slide without picking up all the snow. And then you're just screwed. Corn, you can kind of get away with some snow, with the snow on the ground, because the ears are not on the ground. You don't run the corn head on the ground. Well, at least the cutting part is not on the ground. It's about you. I run my heads personally near the ground, as close as I can to the ground, because of just to pull the stalk all the way down, so it breaks down faster over the winter. So that way there's less stalks to deal with come springtime. As you can see here, you can see how low the bought our 8-row. It came with this head sight, and I thought, oh, you know what, it'd be a cool gimmick to put the headset on the 6-row bent corn head. Little modification, and it went right on. And then I had to sit there, fool around with it, learn how to use it. Well, it was like running a beam table. You just drop it and then it does its thing. It raises, lowers, left, right, rotation as it needs. No different than a table. You still have the risk of bending the snoot, which resulted once, and then the head, and then the other snoot just folded up. I honestly probably didn't use the head sight correctly, and that's probably what resulted in a bit of my headaches. Soil and it's a little slick. Drop. Probably turn my lights on here in a little bit. Got some lights on right now. Automatic lights are on, and I'll turn on my work lights here once I get done with this. Right now I'm just in short rows. I honestly don't know. I never really measured it because the NRCS, I can't remember. I think that's right. USDA office, when we do our map certification on our maps, it clumps the hay and the cropland all together. So I know the other side of the track is just a couple decimals off of 8. This here is supposedly 8 as well. So in theory, 16 acres here on the home place of row crop. And acres of row crop. I honestly don't know how the official numbers pan out. I've never really conducted much of a survey. I just kind of nod my head and say, yeah, that's what. And I mean, the consensus has kind of been 15 and a half to 16, so we just call it 16 acres here. And then, yep, the farm on the other side of the section, that's 50.8 acres over there, I think is what the maps claim it to be. doesn't matter as long as it's planted. Now, if it were corn, I'd be really upset by doing that. With soybeans, you can plant, I say, you plant them in a figure 8 and you cut them straight. So you get your perfect spacing if you plant them all the correct way. Supposedly your ideal plant population at harvest should be 100,000 seeds per acre. I'm sorry, not seeds. 100,000 plants per acre. Drop it back here. That's Is this the button? No, that's not the button. That's the button. Okay. Bright lights. I'm gonna get out and flip switches. Just going across the tracks, so just in case when the train comes through. I don't know how this is cross. Oh shit, I bottomed out. That's a problem. That is a major problem. Let me try something else. Otherwise, I am going to have to wait till tomorrow Sunday. Oh, that's nice. Okay, well, that answers that question. What am I'm going to have to fix that. I'm going to find some dirt. I'm going to build that up. Well, I guess I know what I'm doing tomorrow. Well, I guess I'm just going to spin this around to the back of the shop. I'm just beating up the plant. Trying to get it across, and that's not going to work. That's probably been needed to be graded for a while now. Well, I guess that's going to be that for tonight. I'm going to have to I know I got to wait at least tomorrow. Probably going to have to end up waiting until Monday now, because obviously tomorrow's Sunday and most places aren't open. I don't know if there's anywhere around here that I can get dirt or gravel, for that matter. I was afraid of that anyways. Rides so low. Comparatively to the John Deere's. I'll end up doing some excavation work with the 105. I guess I'm gonna drop the bar off of it, get the drag blade on, and get a couple, probably a load of rock to throw on that other side, so I can get this sucker across and build the grade up correctly. No other way in that field besides that crossing. And considering that's the only way in, I'm screwed. I'm not putting this through the shed. Back there and see what I can do tonight still. Not much. But I am going to have to go get I'll have to do something about that. Well, that's upsetting. Well, concludes that for tonight. I'm going to sign off for tonight, and I guess we're going to pick up. I guess I'll pick up tomorrow after I do some grade working on that crossing. So, thanks for watching, folks. If you watched this, I hope make sure you like and subscribe. Help me get to 1,000 by the end of May. And I'll see you guys in the next video live stream, whatever the next live stream is. I might end up doing one tomorrow. Do the other 8 acres. I haven't decided yet. I'll figure that out. Probably. I'll probably will stream tomorrow, just because I can. So until then, I'll see you later. Like I said, like and subscribe. Help me reach 1,000. I'll see you in the next stream or video. Bye.